So today I'm going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of natural hair. Know that everything I talk about in today's video is based off of my natural hair journey and the experiences I've had over the years with my journey. So please keep that in mind as I discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of natural hair. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into the good. The first thing I want to say is no more chemicals. You do not have to put any more chemicals on your hair, which is such a relief. Now, I understand if you're dyeing your hair, that's a completely different story. But in terms of relaxer, a texturizer, a texlaxer, or anything along those lines, no more of those. So no more scabs, no more sores, no more whatever else happens on your scalp when you apply a chemical relaxer to it. I remember when I used to get my hair relaxed professionally, my stylist used to tell me not to drink soda, more specifically Sprite, and she used to tell me not to chew gum because I guess that will open up the pores a little bit more and allow the relaxer to get inside of my skin more and it would burn more. So, you know, there are rules and stuff like in terms of getting my hair relaxed. I remember that. But of course, I used to love the silky look and everything like that. But then as I got older, I used to relax my own hair. And I would leave the relaxer on my hair just a little bit longer because I wanted my hair to be like bone straight, like stuck to my head basically. So I used to leave my relaxer on a little bit more. And of course I would still get like the little scabs and little sores and stuff like that. So I'm thankful I don't have to deal with that anymore. Another great thing is that you get to learn your true hair type and texture. It's going to be different, it's going to be new, it's going to be something you're not used to in the beginning, but eventually you'll get the hang of it and you'll learn it. And there are so many blogs and books out there for you to learn about your hair type and your hair texture. And it's really just an exciting experience. It's very rewarding and it's very informative. So I definitely recommend that you take the time to actually learn about your hair, you know, because also too, it can just help relieve a headache. There are going to be a lot of ups in your journey and there are going to be a lot of downs. And if you start reading now, whether you're in the early part of your hair journey or whether you're transitioning, or even if you've been natural for many, many years, learn to just learn your hair. Learn to learn your hair. Become educated about your hair. You know, if you have questions, type it in Google. Something's going to pop up. You know, start watching ladies on YouTube who have hair similar to yours and see what they've done. Check out some blogs. You know, there are different things that you can do to become more educated about your hair. But I guarantee once you like dwell into it and dive into it, it makes your hair journey a lot easier and a lot more stress-free, I promise. So it's exciting to learn about your hair. It really is. You learn so many things about what it likes and what it dislikes, and it's kind of fun actually. Another great thing is that you get to enjoy and you get to embrace what you have been blessed with. This is a blessing. It is. At one point in my life, I could not stand having thick hair. I didn't like that it was too kinky. You know, it was just everything I didn't want it to be. But now I understand that my hair is a blessing and it's something that God gave me. Like when he thought of me and when he designed me and created me, he said, this kinky hair of yours, this is perfect for you, Morgan. This is what you're going to have. And it can't get any better than God creating my hair and finding it perfect for me. So I definitely appreciate my hair a lot more. I embrace it and I actually love my hair. Like I'm actually in love with my hair. I don't know how deep y'all are into your journey, but I'm in love with my hair. I love mine. Another powerful, beautiful thing about being natural is that you get to set an example for the young ladies and the young boys out there. And I add boys in because now they're starting to grow their hair out and everything like that. So you get to set that example for them. They're looking up to you whether you realize it or not. They're looking at you and how you talk, how you walk, how you wear your hair. They are looking at all of that. So it's always important to make sure you are carrying yourself very well, that you are confident, that you are positive because they are witnessing that. But in terms of your hair, if they see you rocking a beautiful crown, a beautiful fro, however you wear your hair and it's your natural hair, if they see that, they're going to want that. They're going to want that confidence. They're going to want that hair that you have. So be excited that you get to inspire your daughter or your sister or your niece or your mom or grandma, whoever it is, not even just the younger generations, like just anyone who looks up to you and find you inspiring and find you beautiful or attractive, they're looking at you. So take that as something wonderful. Like, I love the fact when I go out and there are little girls like just staring up at me. I never know what they're thinking, but in my head, I'm like, oh, maybe they're looking at me and like, oh, she has hair just like mine and she's pretty, I don't know. But maybe that's what they're thinking. But even if that's what they are thinking, it's exciting to know that that's what they see as beautiful and as confident, and there's someone who's bigger than them and taller than them, and someone that looks like them, that has hair like theirs, and that they're actually wearing it and appreciating it. It's a wonderful thing to know that I can inspire young girls, young boys, more seasoned individuals. So it's a good feeling. It's actually really cool. Because I know for me, like, I look at little girls' hair and I find that inspiring. I look at someone who's way older than me and I'm like, wow, your natural hair is just beautiful. So it's like we all inspire each other, which is really cool. So I do enjoy the fact that I have younger ladies and younger boys in my life, and right now hair is just hair, but as they get older, they're gonna start wanting to look a certain way, and I just want them to be confident with their hair. Like, I want them to be confident with the way that they are, and I feel like they have to change something about them to fit into some kind of box, you know what I'm saying? So I love the fact that I can be inspiring to them. They might not care now because they're young, but like I said, as they get older, I hope that they can appreciate their beautiful hair now, because all little girls and little boys I know, they all have gorgeous hair, like beautiful hair, different lengths, different textures, different colors. It's just beautiful. So I really do hope that they stick with their natural hair texture and embrace it as they get older. So another great thing on the good list is that being natural has led me to live a healthier lifestyle. Now, I'm going to be honest up front, I'm not the fittest person in the world or the healthiest. I don't eat healthy every single day, and I don't work out every day or every other day, but I am more aware of the foods and the drinks that I do digest. When I first went natural, I used to really just research and study everything hair, and one of the most important things that stood out to me is that you should learn the ingredients of hair products. And then after a while, I would learn the ingredients of my foods and my drinks, and it just became like a habit for me to look at everything that had some kind of ingredient. Doesn't matter what kind of store I'm in or what kind of product I have. If it has an ingredients list, I'm looking at it to check for things that I know are beneficial or things that I know are harmful. And then of course I make the decision if I'm going to buy it or not. So I love the fact that me being natural has led me to live a healthier lifestyle. Now, it's not to say that if I continue being relaxed or text-lax that, I wouldn't have come around to trying to eat healthier or live a better life. But me reading about my hair, there's always something that comes up that talks about eating right and drinking water and taking care of your body and exercising. So it all connects. It honestly does. If you want healthier hair, you really have to take care of your body from the inside out, and that is so true. So another great thing about being natural, and I probably should have put this at the top of the list, is that natural hair is so versatile. I can do any and every hairstyle for the most part. I mean, I can. If I want my hair to be straight, I can do that. If I want it to be wavy, I can do that. Coily, kinky. What else am I leaving out? Coily, kinky, wavy, curly. I can do that as well. The obvious one, curly, right? I can do any hairstyle that I want, and I love that. I'm not stuck to one style. I can change it up for any occasion. If I'm bored with my hair, I can change it up, so I love the fact that I can get creative with my hair and that I can do more with it than when I was relaxed. And I love that. I really do love that. It keeps me wanting to continue with my natural hair journey. So the last thing on this list is that natural hair is a conversation piece. It really is. It's an icebreaker. I can go out and then some lady will come up to me and ask, how long have you been natural? Your hair is beautiful. What technique did you do? How did you get your hair like that? What products do you use? It's always a conversation piece. And even when I see people out there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love your hair. Like, how'd you get your hair like that? Like, I'm always asking questions. People are always asking me questions. So I love the fact that we can communicate about something positive and informative and interesting. And I think it's really cool that, we take the time to compliment one another. Like, I love that as well. Like, I feel like back in the day, it was such like like a not gonna say bad thing, but people weren't complimenting people like that. But now I feel like people are like, oh girl, I love your hair. Oh, that's so pretty. I love your fro. Your hair is gorgeous. On top of that, natural hair events are always going on. I promise every time I'm on Instagram, I see an event popping up, like every Saturday from 10 to 2. It's always in New York or LA, or Texas, but I always see an event going on for natural hair. So people want you to be excited about it. They want you to be educated about it. They want you to be interested, and they want you to be natural. It's always something going on. Always. Okay, so let's move on to the bad. The obvious one that I'm sure most of you can agree with is that wash days are very, 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 okay, I'm not gonna say they're not very, very, but they are very time consuming. And this also includes the air drying process. When I wash my hair, it can take me about 4 hours to wash it. It's like the average. And of course that includes, me like doing a pre-poo, cleansing my hair, deep conditioning, and then following up with like the lock method or the LCO method. So I know you guys are thinking, but that's only like 6 or 7 products, so why does that take so long? And it's because you allow your products to sit on your hair. Like when you apply your deep conditioner, you just put it on and then say, okay, time to take it off. No, you allow your deep conditioner to sit for 30 minutes or an hour. I know for me, I do try to aim for at least 30 minutes, and most of the time it goes well past that. And same with the pre-poo. Like I apply that one on for 30 minutes and then, I rinse it out. So that does take time. And then on top of that, the styling process, if I do like basic twists, it can take like an hour and a half too. But if I do like mini twists, that can take like 5 to 6 hours, which I don't really do those like that anymore because it just takes so long. And I always have something that comes up. It's like I do them, and then like a week later, I have to take them down for something. And it's just like, that's why I just don't like those. They're cute. They are really cute, but it's always a setup. It's always a setup. I'll put them in and I have to take them out a lot sooner than I want to. So between washing my hair and styling it, it can take hours, like pretty much a full day. That's why they say, wash day and not wash hour, because it really does take an entire day. Just about. But also too, the air drying process, that takes even longer, especially depending on the type of hairstyle you do. That can take a very long time. I know for me, if I do a certain kind of hairstyle, it can take like 24 hours. Yes, it can take like 24 hours. That's why I suggest, if you're going to wash your hair, make sure on the next day that you don't have anything planned. And if you do, that it's like, early evening or later. I mean, if you can, just have that whole day to just chill at home, that would be even better. You know what I mean? I know you know what I mean, because I know what I mean. I've been there before where, I wash my hair Friday night and then Saturday night it's still damp. I'm like, really? Because if your hair is not completely dry, it can be very frustrating. The fact that you spent so much time washing your hair and styling your hair, and then you turn around and take it down and it's not dry or nowhere near it. So what I recommend is that before you begin styling your hair, you make sure that your hair is damp. You do not want it soaking wet. So take a t-shirt or a t-shirt like material and use that to dry your hair and get the excess water out. But do not let your hair be dripping wet, because it's just going to take even longer for your hair to air dry. If you have to get your hair dry, like say you're brushing, you're like, oh, I only have 30 minutes and I have to leave, but your hair is still kind of damp, just use a blow dryer or diffuser to help your hair dry. Now make sure you're using a low setting or a cool setting, okay? Now I understand there are going to be those few times when you do need a higher heat, something a little bit more pressure and a little bit more heat, but if you do use one, it's okay to spray a little bit of heat protectant on first. Like you want to do that to protect your hair from getting any heat damage, okay? So another thing on this wonderful bad list is that your hairstyles may not turn out the way you expect. And this is another frustrating thing, especially if you have spent so much time washing your hair and styling it and being patient and going to sleep and waking up and relaxing and just enjoying the day at home. And then you know what? You want to go out later because you've been in the house all day And then you take out your hairstyle because you know it's gonna look good because you've watched that tutorial, you use the exact same products, you and a girl could be hair twins, y'all have the same background, and you use the exact amount of strands like she did on her roller set, and you take your hair down and it looks completely different. That can be very frustrating. It can be, okay? It can be frustrating because you did all of that work and you just knew that it was gonna come out exactly like the picture that gets the million likes, that gets reposted every single time you go on Instagram. Yes, you thought your hair was gonna look like that, but it didn't. And it happens. It happens. You know, even to the ladies who have mastered certain hairstyles, I'm pretty sure they have their days when things just don't turn out right. I mean, they have to. They're human. So if that does happen to you, I'm not gonna say if, I'm gonna say when that does happen to you, just know that you can always resort to a puff or a bun. Puffs and buns, they aren't the most elaborate hairstyle or the most eye-catching hairstyle, but they're quick, they're easy, and they can be worn at just about, well, not just about, it can be worn at any occasion and be okay and fit right in. You know, you can wear a puff or a bun for a wedding, you can wear that same puff or bun for work. So they really are safe, they really are just very neutral, very basic, and like I said, they're easy and quick to do. Another thing I'm gonna add to this list is that not everyone will like your natural hair. And this also includes family and close friends. They're not. Every single person within your circle in your life is not going to like your natural hair, and guess what? That's okay. It's okay that they don't like it. I feel like as long as you like it, as long as you find it beautiful, then I feel like that's enough. I can understand that can be very hurtful, can be very harsh, and what I would recommend though for that is that if someone is telling you their hairstyle is not even cute, like why is your hair like that, you can say, you know what? Well, if you don't think this is cute, then what hairstyle would you recommend? Like, what do you think will look nice on me? You know? And it's not to say that you're so interested in their opinion, you know, but it's the idea that maybe that can kind of make things a little bit more positive. Maybe they'll be more interested in your hair journey. If you open that up, they might be like, oh, well, since you asked, you know, and they might start researching different hairstyles. They may bring something to your attention, and you never know. They might actually be inspired by what they find and may want to join the natural hair movement. Because it's funny how many people are so negative about natural hair and it looking a certain way or whatever, but they're like the first ones who go natural. In a couple of weeks or in a couple of months, they're talking about their transitioning or something like that. It's so funny how it works out. They may start to turn their comments, their negative comments, into something a little bit more positive, and you know, they may be more excited about your hair journey, you know, so you never know. Just kind of switch it up like that. Now, if you're getting more of the, you know, oh, I can't stand your hair, I'm not going out with you, like you need to do something to your hair before you leave, honestly, just pray on the situation, because I'm pretty sure you have spent the time already trying to be positive, and you don't even have to necessarily say anything back. But if you want to, hey, you know, just say, you know what, I respect your opinion, but at least you don't have to deal with it. You know, like say it something like that, you know, and if they have to deal with it, maybe start saving up some money so that you can invest into a natural hair stylist, someone who will gladly do your hair and gladly give you suggestions and give you some positive feedback about your hair. But either way, I just recommend that you be as positive as you can. I know it can be very hard. Personally, I have not had to deal with that within my own circle of people. You know, my husband's supportive, my mom is natural, my sister-in-law is natural, my nieces are natural. I mean, pretty much most people in my life are natural, and if they're not like, oh, here comes Morgan. You know, they're not like that. You know, everyone's supportive or doesn't talk about it, like, you know, it's not like a big deal. But like I said, I know that some people do have to deal with it on a daily basis. It's like a constant like you handle it with integrity, with respect, and with confidence. Okay, so the next and last thing I want to add to the bad list is that you are going to go through that awkward length stage. You surely will. If you do a big chop, like the classic one where you cut your hair really short, like an inch or so long, you're going to go through that awkward length stage when your hair starts to grow out. It's going to be at that point when it's too long to do one style and it's too short to do another, so you're kind of just stuck with like a little tiny TWA a little fro. All right, so let's talk about good times for a second. Let's talk about the mom, Florida Evans, okay? She would rock her TWA. She wouldn't change it up. She wouldn't do anything. It would just be that little hairstyle. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that good times, Florida Evans. Why do I keep doing this? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about her hairstyle. Now, she rocked it and it looked good on her. It just fit her and her character and her personality. But when you were trying to grow your hair out and you get to that point when you want to be really creative with your hair and you want to try these different hairstyles and you've been watching tutorials and you're like, oh, I'll have to try that now. And then you realize, oh, I really can't because my hair is the length that it is and I won't be able to do that for another few months. That's going to happen. And when that does happen, what you can do is resort to a protective style. If you're comfortable wearing wigs, if you're comfortable adding extensions into your hair, now is the perfect time to do it. I know for me, like I used to rock kinky twists. I used to love tree braids. I wasn't wearing those when I was transitioning or natural, but tree braids are great. Kinky twists, Senegalese twists, crochet braids, crochet twists. What else do we have out there? It's just so many things out there now. And then of course, if you're wearing your wigs, you can wear those as well. Just don't use the wig combs. But you can use that protective style to help you get your hair to grow to the length in which you can do more of. I personally think it's an amazing idea to wear your protective styles at that point when your hair is just too short or too long and it's just stuck, you know, it's just stuck in between that little length there. So I feel like wearing protective styles at that time is great. You know, wear them for a few months, take a break, then wear them again for a few months, take a break, and then see how your hair looks. And then if you have to do another, you know, few months, go ahead and do that. So go ahead and invest into getting a nice, cute, protective style for that time, because the awkward length stage, it can be very boring. It can be, it can be boring, and you might lose a lot of motivation to continue your hair journey. You make sure you're taking care of your hair underneath and that it's not installed too tightly, and definitely give your hair and your scalp a break from the protective styles after a while. All right, so now we're going to move on to the ugly. This is the last section of this video, the ugly. What's on this list? Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and start. People touching my hair. I said it. Yep. People touching my hair. People wipe themselves and do not wash their hands. People blow their nose. People eat and lick their fingers. People pick at stuff on their body. People scratch areas on their body. People do pretty much everything with their hands. So that's why I'm like, you have to be very careful. Okay, you have to be very, very careful. And you know, we're all human. We do things unintentionally, but we still do them. You know, in this video, I probably have been touching on something. Y'all probably like, dislike, you know, but we're human. But at the same time, you have to think about that. If people are going to ask to touch your hair, you know, you don't have to be rude about it, you know, but at the same time, you might be a person who is, sorry y'all, you might be the person who is comfortable and okay with people touching your hair. You know, people might ask you, like, oh yeah, sure, go ahead, dig in. If you do have people ask you to touch your hair and you're just really not okay with it, be honest with them about it. You know, just say, oh, no, thank you, but I do appreciate the comment. I really appreciate it. You know, be really nice and sincere, you know, and they might just be like, oh, okay, well, your hair is gorgeous. You know, me personally, it's always funny, like when people want to touch my hair, I'm talking about people I meet on the streets, you know, stuff like that. Not on the streets like that. Not on the streets like that. I'm talking about like when I'm out doing my, you know, everyday, day-to-day stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Not like, anyways, when people ask me that, you know, it always seems to be a time when my hair is wet because I just washed it, or it's oily because I just applied way too much product, or it's dirty because it just hasn't been washed in a while. And it usually is one of those three things. So when people do ask, I'm like, oh, it's too oily, I'm sorry, you know, I put too much oil in my hair, you know, or I haven't washed it in a while, so I'd rather you not touch it, or actually my hair is still wet because I just washed it. You know, most people aren't like, oh, well, who cares? You know, they're usually like, oh, okay, well, your hair is beautiful either way. You know, they still come back with some kind of comment, even though they aren't actually touching my hair. So that always works for me. And I'm always honest about it. Like, that's what usually happens is one of those three things. My hair is wet, it's dirty, or it's oily at the time. It's a little bit different when I'm at like a hair show or a hair event. Like, I go in expecting people to want to touch my hair, so of course I make sure it's completely dry, you know, I make sure it's clean and not oily, you know, so I do make sure of those things. But, you know, I do also make sure that when the show is done that I go home and cleanse it or something like that, because again, you just still don't know. But hair shows are different than when I just meet like normal people when I'm out and about. I just say, be honest. If you don't want someone touching your hair, just let them know up front, and if you don't mind, then hey, I don't see how you do it, but that's cool with me. All right, so another thing I want to add is that natural hair products can be very expensive. I've seen some natural hair products be like almost $40, and I'm not talking about for like a gallon size. I'm talking about like an 8 ounce or a 16 ounce. It could be like $40, you know. And on the cheaper end, I maybe have seen like $8, $7 or $8, which isn't bad at all. But you know, everyone's budget is different. But I always think about the family where there's a mom who has her hair, and say if she has like 2 or 3 daughters who have hair, or even a son who has a lot of hair, and then of course a husband who's sneaking the products, you know. So it can be very expensive. It can be very, very expensive to the point of you having to put hair products on your monthly budget expense sheet or something like that, you know. So I know for families who have to buy a lot of products for 1 month, it can be a lot on your wallet. I can definitely understand that. So what I recommend is that you purchase products around the holidays. So when it's Thanksgiving, when it's Christmas, when it's Easter and like July 4th, those seem to be the holidays when you know, these companies offer these huge sales, whether they're like 30, 40, or 50% off. They're doing these huge sales. So that's when you want to buy your products. Also too, if you do attend hair shows or hair events, that's also another great opportunity to purchase products, because I've seen some of these companies who have products that are normally like $20, $25. They offer them for like $5 or $10 at hair shows. And that's when people, you know, you see them walking around with like suitcases, empty suitcases, just ready to fill up their suitcases with products because they buy in bulk and they buy at that time only. So that's another good option. Another thing too is to follow your favorite hair care companies on social media. A lot of companies are doing giveaways all the time, or they're doing flash sales or social media only sales. So make sure you're following them on their social media accounts. And also too, you can subscribe to their email newsletter. They're also sending out special sales that way. So make sure you're thinking about this before you go out and buy products. Like, there's nothing wrong with walking into the store and buying it that way, but you could probably save a lot more money, and it'll be worth the wait if you could save like hundreds of dollars or even like $50. You know, it's worth it. So follow their social media accounts, buy during the holidays, and buy at hair events and hair shows. All right, so last but not least, this kind of connects with the last comment that I made, is that it's so easy to be a product junkie when you're natural. I know when I was relaxed, I was buying products, but you know, I was buying really cheap products, and I wasn't that like serious about my hair. Like, you know, I love styling it and I liked for it to look cute, but I wasn't going out like, you know, buying products here and there, and like, you know, staying in one aisle for 2 hours, and you know, going to the store like every day to buy products. Like, I was not doing that, okay? Early on when I was natural, I did have my moments when I wanted to try everything that came out. Early on, like in the beginning, like in 2009, there were not a lot of natural hair products. There weren't many at all, but the ones that were, I still kind of wanted to try everything that they had, so I would buy quite a few. But then I realized that These products have expiration dates like everything else, in the world. You have to think, is it worth me buying 20 shampoos and 20 deep conditioners and 20 leave-ins and 20? Is it worth me doing that knowing that they'll have an expiration date? You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to waste your money. I'm not making fun of anyone who is a product junkie. I'm not at all, because I've been there. But I guess I'm trying to get you to understand, like, you have to be, very careful of your spending, because you don't want to be just throwing dollars out the door, out the window. So what you have to understand is that all of these hair care products, they all have an expiration date. The company might not put it on their jar, their container, but they do have an expiration date. They do have a shelf life. So it might be 1 year, it might be 8 months, or it might be 2 years. But you need to find out. If you see a bottle and it doesn't have an expiration up there, you need to find out what that shelf life is for that product. Reach out to the company and ask them, and they will tell you. It's not like secret information. They will let you know, at least they should let you know. So find out that information, and then to just take a Sharpie and write the date at the bottom. Just put expiration date, blah, 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 at the bottom, so then you'll know. But you don't want to be at the point where you're buying so many products to the point of you forgetting about them. When you're a product junkie, you buy a lot of products, and then there might be products that you don't even like. Some things you might not even be able to return, which brings me to my next point. If that does happen, just pass it along to family or friends, items that you don't like but you can't return them, or you can donate them to your local shelter. I know where I live, clothes and food are very important, but there's also a request and a demand for hair care products as well. So, get in touch with your local shelter and see if they are looking for some hair products at the moment, and go ahead and donate them. You want to make sure that you learn to have some kind of control over the spending of your products. I'm serious, because your money could probably go elsewhere. I know it's exciting to try new products as they come out, especially with a hair care company that you really like, and they come out with, new products like every month. I know you just want to go buy them and support them, but you have to think, is it smart for me to go out and buy 10 more shampoos when I have 30 at home? Like, that just does not. What you should start doing is, if you have a leave-in conditioner, and when it starts to get low or it's empty, that's when you go out and buy another one at a time. Just buy what you need. If you notice that your shampoo is low, instead of going out and buying 20, go out and buy 1, maybe 2, depending on how often you go through your shampoo. If you notice your deep conditioner is running low, go out and buy 1 more. But don't go out and buy 6 more from that line and then 10 more from another line, and just, collecting them like, they're Beanie Babies or anything like that. So make sure you're buying what you need, so they don't control you, but you are rather controlling your money and the amount of products that you bring into the house, because you don't want it to become so overwhelming. All right, guys, so I think I have mentioned everything that I wanted to mention in this video. If you have anything that you think would be great for the good list, the bad list, or the ugly list, make sure you leave your comments below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And I thank you so much for watching this video. Also, too, I want to make sure that you understand this is not a video to keep you from going natural or to keep you from continuing your hair journey. This was just something I wanted to talk about so you guys can better know the experiences I had with my natural hair journey over the years. So again, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope each and every one of you has an amazing day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.